Cool. Wicked. So basically, I'm running this on a platform called Sessions, which is like a little bit like Zoom, except for it's got a couple of added features. So something cool you can do is on the bottom right-hand side, you can actually click My Notes, type notes along to this meeting, and after the meeting finishes, it will send it off to you. On the left-hand side, you should be able to see an agenda, which is what we're going to be going through today. So we're going to be introing ourselves quickly. We're going to sort of go through a feast of who we are, and I'm going to introduce Catherine, who's our sort of on the product team, who's going to explain some exciting new features. We're going to have a quick look at how to use filters and quoting to basically get the most out of the platform. We're going to have a look at case studies of some of our top performing suppliers to see how they use the platform, some and how they sort of game it a little bit, and then we're going to sort of do a little feedback session to see what we could be doing to help you guys out more, basically. So I'm going to sort of kick off the sort of introductions. My name is Josh. I've been with Feast It for about 6 months now, so I'm still relatively green. I used to run my own street food business back in the day called Howard's Barbecue. I was a chef in Texas. I learned how to barbecue stuff. I brought it back to London and did it for 4 or 5 years. I was actually one of the first 100 suppliers on Feast It, if I do believe. So it's sort of all come full circle. I've sort of packed up the chefing for a bit because my legs are knackered and my wrists are shot. So I've been working in tech for a little bit. So I work for a company called Recce, who designed this really amazing app for chefs to order from the suppliers. Now I work for these guys. So I'm basically head of communities. So I look after suppliers and to make sure they're happy and that we can help them grow their business and win more bookings on the platform. So that's me. Andy, I'm going to pick on you first because you're another one on my list. So if you just want to sort of just introduce yourself, your business, and
Yeah, no problem. I'll be quick, actually. I'm Andy. I run a business called Buon Appetito, predominantly wedding caterers, and used to be predominantly summer only. Been going for 11 years. That's it for me, really.
Cool.
Good to meet you all.
Catherine, we'll introduce you in a second, so we'll skip over you. Jason? Hello, Jason.
He's on mute.
He's on mute. I think you're on mute, mate. Or he's just listening in. That's fine. Keshel?
Come on, show your face. Come on, let's hear you.
Yeah.
Hello, my name's Keshel.
Hi, Keshel.
I own Liquid Mobile Bars, so we're mainly summer and then seasonal, like festive times. We do all sorts of drinks from soft to alcoholic.
Nice one. Yes, I've seen Liquid Bars on. Yeah. MC? Nope. They're a muter as well, by the looks of things. That's cool. Rebecca?
I don't sound like a Rebecca. It's Rebecca and Jake.
That's amazing.
We own a mobile bar together, selling draft products mainly, and just kind of interested to learn more on how people get more orders, really.
Great, cool. Rich?
Hi, sorry I joined in late. I've got 2 businesses on the platform. So I've got Champagne Fire Truck, which is a vintage fire engine converted into a champagne bar, but we are doing drafts now and other bits of bobs, English sparkling, non-alcoholic sparkling, and Belly Store, which is a general purpose trailer. We don't have a griddle, so we have an oven, so we get to bake pastries and illy coffee. And I was a pastry chef by trade back in the day, and I'm also still a freelance development chef, so I go into big food factories. About to start a contract on Monday.
Very cool. I used to do development chefing. It's really fun, actually, isn't it? Although a little bit annoying to keep having to do the same dishes over and over and over and over and over.
Oh, yeah.
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 It's good to see you again, Rich. I think we spoke a while ago when we were doing user research. Yeah, really good to see you again. Sam?
Hi, I own Pour and Ice Cocktails. So I've got obviously started up through lockdown. We have a converted ice cream van. So we specialise in pre-made cocktails. Obviously, we do events all over. Obviously, we specialise in delivering. We've got between 250 and 500 ml and a litre bottles, full PET plastic. So we offer them wholesale, and obviously people can buy them on the website and delivered nationwide. So yeah, started up through lockdown. I was in the hospitality for more than many years than I can remember. It's about 12, 13 years. Took a massive gamble, and I'm 2.5 years in. So this is where I am.
Congratulations! I think you're over the 2 year is the trickiest year. So once you've got past that, yeah, amazing. Yeah, great to see. Zubair, so am I pronouncing that correctly?
Hey, you're right. How's it going, guys? So I started in October 2020 during lockdown, selling burgers at the back of my shed, and then it was a hobby. I didn't know it would go so far, so it had a lot of demand. I had people queuing up outside of my house and ringing the doorbell Monday afternoons looking for burgers. So I was like, this has got to change. So then I moved into a dark kitchen. I was there for about 2 years. And then I wanted to explore more events because a lot of people were saying, do events and stuff like that. Sorry, I do like LA style smash burgers. So it's specialized smash burgers, loaded fries, and stuff like that. I bought my van 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
So yeah, very new. I've done a few events already, so it's been quite fast paced. And just looking to learn some stuff from people that have been here, I guess.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice one. It's a really good mix of people here, from people who've been on the platform for a bit, some newbies, and some bars, some food. Yeah, it's really good. So nice cross section of feast here. Cool. All right, so we're going to crack on. I'm going to introduce Catherine, who works in our product team, and she's got some updates from some exciting and new features, which is hopefully going to save you guys a lot of time. So over to you, Catherine.
Thanks, Josh. As Josh just said, I'm Catherine. I'm the product manager for the supply squad. So everything that happens that you see, all the changes that you see, come from the team that I work with. Been a product manager for about 8 years now. Started off at Add to Event, so been in the kind of event marketplace for a little bit now. Just want to talk to you about some new things we've got. So you'll have seen like a variety of changes kind of happening throughout the year. The most recent change that you will hopefully have noticed is we've changed our location information. So it's now presented to you in driving distance. So previously it was straight line. We know that given the cost of everything, frankly, at the moment, being able to see where the event is in terms of how far it's actually going to take you to get to and the correct mileage, hopefully will make a massive difference to your lives. So that's on the open events page, and then looking at the actual event itself if you click into it. So hopefully you'll have noticed that change, and just bear that in mind when you're quoting on new requests now. I should say as well, if you have any questions at any point, just interject, just shout them out, that's absolutely fine. We're also working on a new navigation, which you'll see in the coming weeks. We at the moment have that side navigation that you'll be familiar with, but that's going to be stripped out and it'll go to a top nav version. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. And then the big thing that we're really focused on at the moment is this new concept called quick quoting. So we've rolled it out to a few suppliers to begin with, just to kind of see how it goes. Typically sole vertical suppliers, so people who just do kind of pizza or just ice cream. So Jason, I believe you're a pizza guy, ice cream guy, sorry. So I might be in touch with you after this, if that's all right, to see if we can get you as one of our initial testers for it. But just to kind of explain it a bit better, I don't know if I can screen share on here. Yes, I can. So I'll just demo it for you, just so you're familiar with the concept. And it'd be great to get kind of some comments and thoughts from you guys, if that's okay. So it all stems from your quote templates. So I know a lot of people don't tend to use this section very heavily, but honestly, even without quick quoting, this is your favorite place to be. It's going to save you so much time quoting in general. So once you've got some templates set up, we've introduced the ability to put a personalization in. So you can use this first name token and it will automatically insert the customer's name, save you a little bit of time. And we've also introduced a price field into the quote templates now. So if you set that up, what you can now do as part of quick quoting when you're quick quoting enabled is you'll see this section where you can set a template for an event type. So if you do celebrations, you'll see that on this list, and you set the relevant template for that event. You go into open events and do your matches button up here. And what you'll see is the ability to quote at the click of a button. So we load in the template that you tell us to, and then you hit that, and it's that simple. You've quoted. There's the ability to edit. These are all weddings. There we go. There's the ability to edit it before if you don't quite like the template, or you can change it to one of your others if you know you've got the right one, but it's just not the one we've loaded in.
That's really good process. I really like that.
Yeah. Who? Sorry, I can't see who's speaking.
Sorry, Sam. Yeah, no. Obviously, because I'm on the road quite a lot as well. Yeah. So, and I guess obviously, with templates, I do use templates as well. So, just having like a click of the button, when you're on the road, not driving, obviously. But, one of those, quick things. So that makes life a lot easier.
Cool, brilliant. That's really great to hear. So this is version 1 that's out at the moment. We're currently working on version 2 already, which will be a bit more dynamic, and you don't have to set the template to an event type. What we'll do is based on the information in the template. So we will then match your template to the request based on the budget you've put in, or the price you've put in, the event type, and the cuisine tags. So you'll still have the ability to edit within this view. And switch to a different one. But what we'll do is load it in without you having to tell us which one to use. So really great to hear that that's a feature that would be useful. Are there any others who kind of think this is kind of something really useful, a bit more concerned by it? Just any comments at all? Useful, cracking. Okay, that's really great to hear. Thank you. So that's the main thing that we're kind of working on at the moment, which you'll see coming to you hopefully very soon, not too much longer before we share that out to everybody. And yeah, hopefully that's been helpful for you. I'm always around if you ever have kind of product feedback or kind of comments that you want heard. If you can't get hold of me, then reach out to Josh and he can kind of push the comment forward and share my details if you'd like to get in touch.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you very much.
I think Jason has just said, wasn't too keen on instant quotes with another company. I did leave because that's all they offered. So I think I believe the instant quoting is going to be a toggle on off feature, right? So if you want to go old school, you can still go old school if you want. So
yeah, it's never going to be compulsory. We appreciate that it probably isn't for everybody, because some people, their quotes are so highly personalized and bespoke that quick quoting isn't something that would work. So yeah, it's always going to be an optional feature.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought it might have been popped up.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's really helpful.
I think that would much benefit PopTop as a company, right? Because it costs per quote, right? So if it was just leeching quotes out of you and you had no option to stop it, I can see how that could get quite frustrating.
Yeah.
Anywho, we'll stop bagging on the competition for now. So thank you so much, Catherine. So Catherine is going to be sitting in anyway. So if you've got any questions for her at any point, either shoot over a text through the chat or we'll do a little Q&A at the end as well. Cool. Alrighty. So we're just going to whiz through sort of the history of FEASIT, just so you can see what we've been doing and where we're going. This is basically our supply team. So everyone that's involved with dealing with you guys, the lovely suppliers. So we've got Seb, who sort of leads all the sort of supply policy from the top. We've got Liv, who's actually sat opposite. She's waving at me. He's our new supplier onboarding. So if you've joined the company, you would have spoken to her. Emily, who deals with sort of public events. So she may have reached out to you to try and fill a spot at a festival. And there's me, your community manager. I'm just going to put a spotlight on myself because I think I can just see Catherine's face hovering. How do I do that? Start spotlight. All right, I'm back. Hey. Cool. Quick quick brief history of Feast It. So in 2017, we launched as basically a food and drink based sort of platform. I was one of the first 100 suppliers on the platform. Back in those days, it was pretty old school. The founder, Hugo, would just text me if they had a private event they need filling, and I was like, yep, sure, can do, or not. And as you can see, our strategy has been to add other sort of different types of businesses to the platform. So in 2019, we've added photography and AV. In 2020 July, florist, marquees, and staffing. We obviously went quite virtual during the pandemic, which I can say, thankfully, that virtual events have sort of died off now, which is great for you guys who I'm sure would be more interested in doing stuff out and about. And this is obviously a little bit out of date. It says the most successful month ever was July 2021. There's a lie. It was July 2022. Also, welcome to Risha. Love to see you. I see you've just joined the chat. You haven't missed too much, so it's all good. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to grow the team. We're still a relatively small business for how many suppliers and customers we have. We're trying to really invest in our supply product. So that's what you guys see. So your dashboard and things like quick quoting. And we're also trying to build a supply community as something that's we've never really done before. So it's the reason why I have a job and why we can do these sort of sessions. So this is a graph of sort of our supplier engagement. So if you look back at 2018, we were getting roughly 5,000 quotes a month during our real busy period, and then when this data was taken, it was getting closer to 18,000. So it just shows you how many more suppliers we have on, and also the sort of engagement of our suppliers. Currently, we have, I think, just over 750 active suppliers on the platform, so that's someone sending a quote every day, which is its highest it's ever been, which is great. This is a really, really important graph. We did a little bit of data digging to see how many quotes that our suppliers are sending a month and how that relates to their percentage chance of winning a booking. And as you can see here, there's a huge jump between those that are sending 20 to 30 quotes a month. Their percentage of winning a booking is 45. So if you're sending 20 to 30, you've got about 45% chance of winning a booking. But if you're sending under that, your percentage drops to about 10%, which is much lower. So through this, we figured out that our average supplier needs to be sending at least 30 quotes a month to stand a good chance of getting a booking. Some suppliers who run their entire business through Feast It are sending upwards of 200 quotes a month. Obviously, we don't expect everyone to do that, but they're almost guaranteed to win a booking. So hopefully this quick quoting should allow you to send more quotes more quickly. We typically say, send a quote when you're having your sort of tea in the morning. And by the end of the month, you would have sent 30. Cool. So this is a little bit out of date again. I was supposed to update it this week, but ran out of time. But as you can see here, this is our demand. So in 2022, we are doing 3 to 4 times what we were doing pre-pandemic. And if this graph were to be updated, it would be shooting off the top because July this year was our busiest month ever for requests. So we've got more jobs coming in than ever, and our revenue was as high as it's ever been. Which is really, really cool, really encouraging. There's lots more work out there for you guys. Cool. So this is a really interesting slide. We basically, through our data, compiled what our typical Feast It customer is. Our typical Feast It customer is a female aged between 24 and 34. The average initial budget versus average booking value is quite interesting because our average initial budget is £700, but our booked value is £1,400, which shows you that a lot of these lower value requests that come in can be talked up and booked. Like a lot of people are booking catering, drinks, photography for the first time. They don't really understand how things cost. So don't be put off when someone puts in a low budget. Don't think they're trying to insult you. They just sometimes just really don't know what stuff costs. So if you do quote on something like that, and I'll get into later why I think it's a good idea, you can sort of educate the customer and sell themselves and why they should be spending money with you. Interestingly, 43% of our events are weddings. Does anybody know what the average price of a wedding is in the UK currently?
Sorry, Sam. So I'd say, obviously, depending, DIY wedding. So obviously, what we're sort of in the market for, I'd say anywhere. And obviously, if you've got a marquee, but around 35k plus, depending on location, etc.
All right, so I've got quite a few answers here. Toby says 20,000, Jason 60k. That's pretty spenny. Rebecca's at 30, and Zabir's at 30. And actually, the average price is 35k. So you are spot on, Sam, I believe. So you win an imaginary prize. 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
yeah. But what that does show you, I was quite shocked when I heard that figure. That is an insane amount of cash. So there's a lot of money out there for you guys. It should also be said for catering, our average street food prices are now 12 to 15 quid per head. And sit downs, you're looking at easily 20 plus a head. So the budgets have never been more available to you guys, which is great. Obviously, this was our top search term in 2021, burger van near me. So that bodes very well for Smash and Slide. Cool. And so this is sort of a little bit about, what do we spend your hard-earned commission on? And really, the majority of it is either spent on developing products for suppliers, so investing in sort of new and great features for the supplier dashboard. But really, our largest spend is on marketing. So on average, we spend £1,300 a year per supply. And that's on Google Ads, Bing Ads, SEO, social media strategy, and automated landing pages, which you may have seen if you try to Google your own business's name and feast it, or if you type in catering or Burger Vans London, there should be a landing page that has all the sort of best feasted burger vans in London. So yeah, that's what we spend the majority of our money on. Okay, cool. So where are we taking supply products? So Catherine's probably going to laugh at me because this is quite out of date as well. So the idea is that, our big mission on the supply side is to build an operating system to power the events industry, because currently there really isn't anything that exists out there. So what you see now with your dashboard is really sort of an early version of something that we want to develop into sort of a more heavy-duty tool. As you're probably aware, running your own business is really, really tough. I remember running mine. I was a solo sort of operator and having to do everything myself. It's a pain in the ass. So, you've got to handle your own CEO. You've got to build your brand. You've got to reach out to customers. You've got to respond to customers. You've got to plow money into adverts. You've got to sort of pay your suppliers. You've got to pay your staff. You've got to manage your team. So you've got to set rotas every week or every 2 weeks. You've got to go and find out where you're making money, where you're losing money. You've got to fiddle your recipes to figure out what costs what. Your suppliers' prices are changing every single week. You've got to manage your calendar as well. All of this is really, 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 really tricky. So, in the future, we'd like to take, some of these sort of difficult things and plow them into one platform. Which I think is really exciting, and it's going to be a long way, but we're sort of starting off now. But yep, before we get ahead of that, there's a couple of things we want to fix. Our messaging, I think has come a long way recently. Has anyone used the call feature by any chance? What do you think of it? Oh, we have one yes.
I've used it a few times.
Yeah.
Sometimes successful, sometimes not successful, because depending on, I think, is it just the same mobile number that's used? So I think if I'm calling, if I'm using the app, but they've had 3 other quotes for that quote and they've all called, why is this number ringing me again? I've already spoke to them and not actually realising that there's that it's one number for every platform. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. And actually, do you know what? That's the first time I've heard that. So that's really excellent feedback.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. Not heard that point of view before, which really valid, because it might feel like they're being bombarded when they're really not.
Yeah. And as customers and suppliers, or who are we? Obviously that's we don't want to hound them. We want to give them as much breathing space, obviously, as possible, because obviously to spend, again, like you said, you're spending, 5,000, whatever your quote is. It's a lot of money to, you want value for money as well, rather than. But I actually got a strike, which I was unaware of.
Yeah.
Put my mobile number on the platform. Obviously because of this problem, well, not problem, but just because obviously this is what I'd encountered. And it felt like, and obviously I can't remember the guy who I spoke to. It was on email, said obviously I was. They didn't want, obviously you guys don't want to feel like I'm taking business away from the platform and money, because it was sort of like a private sale, and that's no way what I was intending on doing. It was just for that first point of call to say, hi, this is my number. By all means, let's use the you have to use the platform. But then again, it's round circle. You're going to come back to trust, aren't you, and things, because people might not then use the platform, and then that's where the sort of the cracks start to appear.
I see. Yes. The good news is, for you guys, is that we appreciate that sometimes the phone feature isn't as robust as we would like it to be. So we're holding out on giving strikes for sort of times where we can see where the call feature has become untenable, and so you need to continue a conversation potentially over the phone or a different thing. But it does get flagged to us, so we have to make a judgment call on each one. But yeah, I just saw that sometimes customers want to call or contact off platform for easier comms. Obviously, we can't stop people, customers, for trying to get the conversation off platform. We would love if you kept it on platform, as we've sort of essentially paid to connect you to the customer. So we'd love to see that booking on the platform. Yeah. So cheers, MC. Appreciate that. It's something else as well. We've just hired a data scientist. His name is Tommy. And he has the best hair in Feast It. I'll have to send a picture around. But he basically, we want to give you guys more insights and analytics into how to make better business decisions moving forward. So currently on the dashboard, you can see your event matching response rate. You can see your quotes submitted, customer engagement, message response rate, and booking revenue. It'd be great, to put more stuff on there to show you what cuisines are trending where, or things like that. If you've got any requests for any data that you would find useful, definitely message me, and we can dig that out for you before it gets put onto the site. And this is something that we spoke about earlier with Catherine. So we want to automate more parts of the process. You may have noticed that payments are now automated for a lot of people. So if you submit your bank details to Feast It, you don't have to submit invoices anymore. That's a huge time saver. Also, we're looking at the quick quoting that we just saw. We're looking at sending nudges and reminders automatically. Also, I don't know if you've seen, your calendars are now sort of integrated to your Google Calendar, which is a really, really useful thing. So you should hopefully not get double booked anymore, as this was a huge problem. Yes, the automatic payment feature is available to everyone. If you submit your bank details to billing.feastit.com, which I'm just sending now, basically, you won't have to send an invoice; it will send automatically. Payment is still on Tuesdays and Thursdays. For now. Chanel, our sort of finance guy, is looking at getting events paid. Payments sent 24 hours after each event, but it's a work in progress. So hopefully, it should get you paid quicker in the future. So this is something that's probably we're looking at developing for Q1 of next year, which is prepayment. So the idea of giving you guys a deposit or an upfront payment if you win a booking. So this isn't going to be available until Q1, but I've seen design mock-ups of it, and it is being taken really seriously. So the idea next year that you should be able to win a booking and then draw down 20% of those funds way ahead of time. So that's really exciting. We're looking forward to that. Does anyone have any questions at all before we move on to the next section?
No, okay, Sam again.
Yeah.
Have I got the only voice?
Yeah.
No, I was just talking about prepayments, obviously, like deposits and things like that, because I say, was it a lot of us, as you well know, a lot of us are on our own.
Yep.
And trying like cash management and stock management and things like that. If we got a £10,000 on, you're working on 50% or whatever. You need a lot of alcohol or a lot of burgers and things like that. So it's a lot to try and and it sometimes it holds you back on quoting.
Oh, really?
Obviously,
Wow.
yeah, well, for me, again, I'll say for me personally, if I see something that I know I can do, but when it comes down to like, if I've got a £5,000 budget, I'm thinking, right, so have I got £2,500 to spend before, like the week before, obviously, in excuse me, if I got let's say £2,500, for instance, that week to do that event before, then obviously I get payment obviously after it. So that's like a deposit or some sort of feature would be perfect, because I think it does hold me back on quite a few quotes.
Okay, that's really interesting feedback. Yeah, it's something that I've been trying to push for a while. I think the difficulty really is for our side is basically assuming some sort of liability, because a lot of customers, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, pay on a payment plan. So they pay 10% down and then they pay off installments. And so to give you guys a deposit, we would have to basically assume some risk. As we don't have all the money from the customer, you would get 20%. So we were looking, we tried to find like an insurance company to sort of basically insure us over losses, but they were like, no one's ever done this before, so we need to see how it works. So we've got to do it all in house. So that's why it's taking slightly longer. But yeah, it's something that I've seen the design mock-ups for, and hopefully we can have ready for early next year. Cool. Any more questions? Okay, cool. That's nice. Okay, so a lot of love for the idea of prepayments. Yeah, this is really good feedback. I can push this through to the finance team and the design team as well, to show that this is like really important to people, especially if it's holding back people quoting. Cool. Thank you.
We're all open to commission as well if these get put forward.
Yeah, really? Wow. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so there's full agreement on deposits. Yeah. Cool. That's really useful feedback. Cool. If there's no more questions, I'm just going to move on. I'm just going to show you quickly, sort of a really quick sort of overview of tabs and filters. Can everyone see this open events page?
Yeah.
Great. I did this before and it wasn't showing, and I also did it before and it sort of screen shared on the session page and went into this infinity loop of doom, and it was really horrible to look at. So this is great. Cool. So what I'm on is like a sort of a fake profile, and a lot of people that join Feast It don't have a clue about how to use these filters, and I think they're like really important, especially as you want to get the most relevant results to your business. So this will differ between food and drink and photography. So currently I'm on a food platform, so it's going to have slightly different sort of drop downs, but you'll have similar ones if you're different to food. So I'm going to talk about some of these tags here. So if you click on request type, these are super important. Preferred cuisine match is such a great tag to have a see who has selected your cuisine, and it just makes it far more likely that you're going to see events that are relevant to you. Also, direct requests are requests in which the client has specifically selected you. So these have a great chance of getting booked. So unfortunately, there's none currently with direct requests on this. It's a fake profile. So yeah, if you haven't had a play around with these filters, definitely have a look. I think they make such a huge difference. Also, you can sort of filter out by food tags as well. So I believe if you're looking to book Christmas events, have a look at this festive tag, because you can see who's requesting sort of Christmassy style or festive style things. Works really well. Also, you can filter by budget. So if you're sick of seeing stuff coming in for a couple £100, you can sort of use this really good tool of filtering out distance as well. Also dates. So if you're super busy, you booked up every Friday, Saturday for the next couple of months, and you think, oh, Feast It's going to be useless. What you can actually do is filter by day. So if you're booked up over the weekend, you can basically filter by these days, which is really, really useful. Also, if you haven't already, I would definitely have a look at your tags, especially if you're a food trader. You want to keep these down to around about 5. If you have loads and loads of tags selected, you're just going to get so many different results, and a lot of them are going to be irrelevant to you. So we want to keep your tag numbers down. Yeah, cool, nice one. And Catherine gave you a nice run through quoting and templates. So yeah, you don't need to do that again. Cool. Any questions on that at all? Nope, nice one. Easy peasy. All right, we're going to go through a couple of case studies now. So these are some of our top performing suppliers on the platform across different verticals. So some of them photographers, some of them drinks, some of them food, but they all do stuff, on the platform that I think ensures that they're going to win more bookings. Just little tips and tricks, nothing too major. But if you do them regularly and you're sending loads of quotes, you're going to find yourself winning way more bookings. So this is JK Weddings, who's our #1 ranked food photographer on the website for weddings. The clue is in the name. Obviously, what makes him so successful is his photos are beautiful, but they also cover a wide range, which is really good to show sort of clients, different things that you do. So if you're a food supplier and you do a couple of different things, make sure to get all the different things you do on there. He also has lots and lots of reviews, so 20 reviews. Our research has shown that anyone with 10 plus reviews stands a much chance to get a booking. So if you don't have those 10 reviews yet on Feastit, add external reviews, and you can do that through your dashboard. And what that will do is just send an email and to someone that who's used you before, and they just have to verify. It's really, really simple. So this is a quote that JK Weddings has sent. It is for photography, but I think it's really applicable to all sort of types of businesses. It's just really clear, concise of what the customer is going to get on the day. You get a consultation, you get me taking photos, you get 8 hours of photography, you get this, that, and it just makes it really, really clear to the customer what they're paying for, and it also justifies his price as well. So it's definitely something that I would suggest having a look at in your templates. Is if you think about the customer side, what do you think about as a customer? You want to see exactly what you're getting, what levels of service, how long you're going to be there for, that sort of thing. It's just really, really important. I was just getting some chat through Chatter. So this is a company called Sugar Puff, who, when we did sort of a deep dive into the most or the suppliers with the highest conversion rates on the platform, they actually appeared, which was quite surprising because it's sort of like a waffle brand who I wouldn't suspect as having the highest conversion rate on the platform. There's something really simple that I know she did that was a little bit different, but she basically, in her message that she sent with the quote, it was really, really short. A lot of times people send these massive blocks of text, and it just looks really sort of ugly, and I just don't think customers read them. So you want to keep it really short. She basically says, exactly like a really small sort of thing about her business. We just have 3 years trading our unique hand-paid cart, and I think this is really important. She brags heavily about really high-profile clients that she's worked with in the past, which is something that I notice a lot of our suppliers on Feastit don't do. You should use basically every opportunity to brag about the clients that you've worked with in the past. So, it's just social proofing. Oh, if Pandora and Marc Jacobs use Sugar Puff, then, they must be great. So, definitely brag about your high-profile clients as much as you can. So this is Chop and Chip and Fergus, who is probably our highest booked food trader on the platform. He's got nice food pictures. He's got lots of reviews, which is great. And this is an example of him using the call feature. And I think, Rebecca, you hit on this earlier. Oh, it's not Rebecca. I know it's not Rebecca. Jake, I believe. But basically, if you can try and arrange a call with a customer as soon as they're on the hook, it just massively increases your chances of getting a booking. So what Fergus does is, as soon as he gets a client to message him back, he basically tries to arrange a phone call through the platform, and he's really good at selling himself. And once a customer has taken the time to actually call you, you stand a really good chance of winning that booking. So I would definitely recommend trying to get that call booked in as soon as possible. This is Maverick, who are our #1 bar company on Feast It, who I think they actually cracked our 10 highest earners across all verticals this month. So yeah, they're doing really, really well. So not only do they obviously have a beautiful van, not everyone has to have an amazing, expensive Citroen like Kareem, but I think that taking really, really good pictures of your setup is super important. Even if it's a gazebo setup, you can really tart it up with some props. Get some fresh herbs out, stick it out front. You want to get really, really nice photography of your setup so customers know exactly what they're getting when they book you. Something that Kareem does really, really well is she sends a message straight after quoting. So she sends a quote and then she pings a quick message and attaches a PDF with some marketing material. And it's just a really good way of nudging the client, because they'll get a notification when you send a message, but also just looking professional. And also it shows that you're putting a little bit more effort into every sort of quote you send. You're far more likely to get a client to sort of message you back. Will you be capping the number of suppliers for each category? Otherwise, it will become too oversubscribed. Okay, interesting. So we're not particularly capping the supplier amount currently, but what we are doing is we're only taking on really new suppliers where we can match it with demand. So, for example, we're currently looking for pizza suppliers in Guildford. Instead of just repeatedly taking on sort of London suppliers. So there won't be any caps, but we are getting better at the way that we onboard suppliers. We don't let everyone join the platform. I think only 1 in 10 actually are allowed onto the platform. So congrats to the user that made it. Okay, this is a guy called Safe who runs a company called Tahina. When he came on the platform, he's a really niche offering. It's a sort of Egyptian vegan food. We weren't really sure if he had much of a place on the platform, if he was going to get any bookings. But it turns out he became one of our highest booked suppliers because he knew his market, which was corporates, and he sort of catered his quotes to them really, really well. So this is one he sent. So he sends a quote and he sends a quick message afterwards, like I said earlier, and he attaches a little PDF of his proposal. And corporates love this. It just looks really, really professional. It's easy for them to digest, and it takes a little bit longer on your guys' end. But if it takes an extra 5 minutes to knock up a PDF, like a nice branded PDF, you stand a good chance of winning a $5,000 job. So that's something that he does really, really well. Cool. And those are my case studies. Have you got any questions on that at all?
I have.
Yep.
Yeah, another one. Sorry, I'm again. So one thing that I guess whether people don't know, obviously, that they pay a commission or not, I'm not too sure whether that's whether that's displayed on on your website or whatever. But I think for me, like a cost breakdown. Obviously, it says like quote price, so that's $5,200. If they've got, let's say, a £5,000 budget and you've quoted 5,000, what are they getting with that? Because you can't, even though I can put in the quote, it's 2,000 for, let's say, travel, hire, what you get have cash for and things like that. If it's just like one set figure, they're thinking, well, I don't know what I'm getting in that, because obviously it flags up that you're putting money, you're putting a money figure in your quote. So, but obviously then that comes down to obviously like communication, like over phone or whatever, obviously. But yeah, I don't know whether like more of a breakdown would be a good feature on that.
Yeah, I mean, so we are looking at introducing line by line quoting. So I know there's a knock up of it, so that should alleviate some of that. I think with commission, so what the customer's going to see is they're going to see your total quote price, which is your price plus the commission, and then they see that plus like a small service charge of 2.5%. So, the advice that we give is basically you need to feature in our commission into your quote price. You need to imagine that we're sort of like your marketing expense, essentially, or
Okay.
So there are some suppliers that add just our commission directly on top of just what they would charge, as a direct booking, which you can do, but it will make you more expensive. So people that includes or try to absorb some of our commission will come out at a lower price, and so you'll become less competitive, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, cool. No, I know the quote calculator is a little bit confusing because it just plonks it on top and it sort of goes against our messaging. We've been trying to work on getting that fixed for a while now, but it's a work in progress. So yeah, I would say try to accommodate as much of our commission into your total cost that you send off to the client.
Okay, cheers, mate.
Yeah, nice one. Cool. All right. So this next slide is basically, you should be able to see this, how to be a cult brand. So, it's something that I had to look at a lot of your profiles, and it's definitely having worth thinking about, how you sort of market yourself and how you brand yourself on our site and beyond. So this is a really great article called How to Become a Cult Brand. It's from a guy called Dan Nash, who did all the branding for Dishoom and Chicken Sours, Chicken Sours actually a supplier on the platform as well. And it's a really, really good read. And what I'm going to do is after the session is finished, I'm going to send you a pack of resources just to have a look at, to basically have a read through in your own time and to think about how you can potentially, improve your sort of brand both on the platform and out and grow your business. I would say that the number one thing that I always suggest to people is really have a deep think about your photography that you've got on the site. So we do have access to food photographers that we can send out to you for a very discounted rate. So definitely get in touch if you'd be interested in that. Otherwise, really maybe spend a day with your iPhone, buy a tripod, and get some really good photos of your products and your setups. I think it's just such an important thing, and it's going to increase your bookings load. So if you spend one day, going through your photos, you're looking at like thousands of pounds of potential bookings. You don't need to hire professional photography. It definitely works. It's not expensive. Oh, Jason, I did it. Okay. Okay, so Jason, you don't need to anymore. Oh, that's frustrating. Yeah, I think there's a link on somewhere on the platform that leads to nowhere, so I'll have to fix that. So thanks for bringing that up. But yeah, so if anyone needs advice getting food photographers, we can sort that out. But yeah, I'll send you a resource pack with a lot of different great resources to have a read in your own time. I think it's just really important to think about how you market yourself on the site and beyond. Cool. All right. So everyone should be able to see this handy dandy Miro board. So this is a really cool. Miro is actually really cool. It's free, and you can design things. I use it as a way of strategizing how I'm going to do stuff. It's really, really cool. But basically, what I've got here is a little board. So what you can do is you can click on stuff and drag it around. And this is basically just a little feedback for us of, stuff that you want to see more from Feastit. So I've written some suggestions up here, such as like swag, online classes, social events, panel events, which is sort of like, sort of sessions from an expert. Who deleted that? Someone just deleted the... Oh yeah, that's hilarious. There you go. I've just moved the box. Okay, fine. Okay, so if you can, don't move these boxes around. What you want to do is on the left-hand side, there's some suggestions here. If you click on one of these blank ones, you can also, if you double-click it, you can write suggestions, like free beer. And then what you want to do is you want to drag these and drop them into the various boxes. So green is, yes, I would like that. Maybe is like, yeah, in due time. And then no is, this doesn't really interest me. I can't be bothered. So if you guys want to take a couple of minutes and drag stuff around, I would love to see, some suggestions as well. So yeah, as you said, double click on the thing. You can type stuff. You can also copy and paste these things as well. That's what, a couple more minutes. Wow, lots of suggestions here.
So I've had a completely blank screen for the last 2 minutes. So sorry about
if you just been sat there,
I missed everything.
Yeah. Is anyone else because there's quite a few people on that I can see. Maybe move your. Can you see the squares, Andy?
Yeah, it's just come back. My screen went totally blank. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I'll give a couple more minutes then. Basically, yeah, just I think one person is going the wrong way. Whoever the grey is the grey.
I haven't got a clue what you're doing, but it's all good.
If you zoom out, Andy, by like sort of
Yeah,
you should be able to see what everything going on. Nice one. No one's liking the swag. That's a good thing I didn't get any t-shirts printed. This is amazing. This is really good feedback, guys. Example templates. Yeah, this is great. 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 I'll give you a couple more minutes. It's going to take me a while to sort through this pile of notes here, actually. Okay, that's interesting. Catherine?
Yes.
Is there any way you could share after this share screen and just show everyone what it looks like on a customer side? Because I'd imagine quite a few people haven't seen it.
I am already finding a customer to do that with. Yeah, you're not the first person to say that, Andy, either. So we are working out how we can kind of make that more visible to you guys. Yeah, let me just pull someone up.
Yeah, thank you. I want to spend more time on getting the quotes looking good, but I therefore need to know how it looks. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, totally. All right. It looks like everyone is sort of done with feedback, and honestly, that's an incredible response. This is definitely the most that I've ever had, so this is fantastic, and it's definitely something that helps us build the product. So for example, it was a direct request from a supplier. It was actually Maverick bars, which is the reason why we have the drive distance instead of just like as the closed fries, because she was complaining about spending too much money on fuel and she wasn't able to price it into her quotes correctly, and that was part of the product. So stuff like this is amazing, and it really helps us build stuff into the platform. All right, I think brilliant. Thanks, guys. All right, Catherine, are you able to share screen now?
Can you just kind of filibuster for 2 minutes while I find someone?
Yes, I can. I can filibuster. Okay. And as well, I think someone put needing one-to-one help. Basically, I'm always available to book a consultation in. So I'm going to email everyone after this with a resource pack, and it will basically you'll have the ability to book in half an hour with me, anytime really. So yeah, it's something I really like doing. And if you book in a session, I can go through your profile and give you honest feedback about your photos, your bio, what works on the platform and what doesn't. So yeah, this was intended to be like sort of like an intro sort of session. But if you want like a bit of a deep dive, personal dive, yeah, I'm always around to do sort of sessions. So great. Are there any other questions whilst Catherine searches for a customer profile?
Yeah. At what point do you remove a quote? Because when I look at some quotes, they're like 2 years old, 1 year old, and I sort of think to myself, is there any point in quoting?
That's a good question, actually. Catherine, do you know?
No, so we don't currently do anything on that, and we should. Frankly, we know that we need to kind of work on expiry of requests, but also expiry of quotes. Expiry of requests is something that we're looking at, and at the very least we're trying to make sure that we start matching better, so that you're only matched with things that are actually live. Something that we're trying to work out at the moment is how long a request should be quotable for, because there's that sweet spot where some people do have long lead times and are kind of willing to be looking for a lot longer. But equally, your chance of getting booked for that one is therefore maybe less likely if they've already had a few quotes and it's been live for a while.
Yeah,
there's a sweet spot that we haven't yet found, to be honest.
I would say events that have been on the platform for more than 2 weeks, you don't really stand a good chance of winning a booking if you submit a quote 2 weeks in. I think it's something like 90% of our bookings are within 2 weeks. A lot of people are looking to book as soon as possible, especially corporates. Corporates want to book 30 days out from the event on average, so you want to get those ones super quick, and they just want to pay and just don't want to deal with the stress. So yeah, those ones are great to go after because they book really quickly.
Brilliant. And one other thing, sorry guys.
Yeah, sure.
When you decline a quote or just get rid of it, hide it, and it asks you why, because you already booked, it then says that it will make a note that you're not available on that date, but then you continue to get more bookings coming through for that date. Will that be automatic after a while?
So what's going on there? It's a bit of a weird one. So we're in the process. You'd have seen the new calendar arrived this year, and where you can say what time the event is. Where you can say what time the event is, it does mean that we're trying to work out how to when you say you're unavailable for a request, how to make that block the whole day, because what we're working towards is hourly bookings. So for some suppliers, they can literally do one event a day and that's it. So we need to be able to block the whole day out. If they've got one event, that's it, they're busy. But there are other suppliers that they could do, say, a morning one and an afternoon, or they've got multiple setups, so they could do 2 different a day. So what we're trying to work out is how, if you say you're unavailable for a request for the day, do we block out the whole day and stop all requests, or do we just block those time ones? So we're aware that that is an issue at the moment, and we are trying to solve it. You'll probably hear from us in the coming kind of weeks and months as we dig into that a bit more for kind of what would work best for you, because we haven't quite got there yet, to be honest.
Okay, cool.
I think I now have a request. Yes, I have. It's a declined one, but the quote will work nonetheless. So here we go. Does that answer your question? Sorry.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, perfect. Right, you should now be able to see my screen. So I've just picked a random request that exists. So this is the customer event dashboard, and within this event, they've got two different requests. We'll look at this one, although it's been cancelled. You'll still be able to see what's going on. They have all their quotes will be listed here, and then what they see is this is the full quote itself. But what you really want to kind of know, so when a supplier, oh well, that's a really good start. This is a test site, don't worry, but it doesn't like me. Brilliant. Okay, so I found one that's broken, which is useful. But what you would see is you've got the request information that would be here. The bit that's most useful for you to know is when you submit the quote template, when you submit a quote, you have the two sections of the quote. I'm going to just go back to a supplier because I'll be able to talk it through a little bit better. When you write a quote, you have two sections of that quote. You've got your message and you've got this bit, which is explaining your quote. This part appears in the message thread here, for example. But the actual quote information bit, there is a link to the side that they need to click on. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to find one that actually works, because I know that this is something that's really useful to see. If I can't find it in time and we need to end, then I'll get Josh to circulate it in an email afterwards to you all.
Yeah, we're running slightly over, but I mean, I think that's fine.
I'll find the information and I'll make sure, Josh, yeah, if you circulate it afterwards, that's fine.
Yeah, totally. That's totally fine. How are suppliers ranked? Okay, so there is an unofficial sort of system that we have at Feastit, and we basically look at suppliers and how valuable they are to the business and how engaged they are. And so we have a couple of different tiers. Top ranked suppliers are earning about 5K a month through us. They're winning, 5-6 bookings every month or every other month. They're quoting at least 30 times a month. They've got more than 10 plus reviews. Another one, this is important, they respond to our matches that we make. So if we match a supplier with an event, they send a quote in for that, they get a bonus for that. You also get a bonus for what was it? Oh yeah, sending a message after you send a quote. And responding to customers. So we have all these metrics that we look at that we think we want our suppliers to be doing. And we rank them informally into gold, silver, and bronze tier. If you're a gold supplier, we would have sent you a top ranked supplier badge, which you can put on Feastit or you can share on your social media, that sort of thing. And currently we have about 80. We have about 80 suppliers in our sort of top ranked section out of 750. So it's quite an exclusive club. But if you're sending the first step is really to start sending over 30 quotes a month, and be sending a message as soon as after you send a quote, responding to clients, and you should start see bookings ticking in. And so that's how you sort of tick up the rankings. It's really interesting. In the future, we might see stuff where our gold suppliers or our top ranked suppliers might see certain benefits as a thank you to Feastit. I can.
I do have a user if you want me to quickly.
Yeah, do it.
About that.
Let's do it.
Gotta love a live demo, guys. Here we go. Right, so I found a supplier. So here, or customer, sorry. So I've gone into their messaging because that's kind of the best way to demonstrate it. So this part here is that first part that you would write, the intro and the hello. The actual quote itself is accessed over here via a quick view quote or via this view breakdown. And then that takes the customer into the actual quote information itself. So what we tend to do is the email that they'd receive would take them to here, and then they'd scroll down. Oh, they've got this sticky footer here where they could go into the message and they can see the whole thing.
Yeah, I've had it a few times where people are asking what's included in the quote. So I guess that's because they can read the message, but they're not clicking on the quote. And then having to go in and find it and copy and paste it into the messages. And is there some way to make that a bit more visible?
I can definitely take the feedback on board and we can look into it for sure. For the time being, my advice would be when they say that, just encourage them to click the view breakdown button, and that will give them all the information. They will see that, as I say, for the email saying that they've got a quote, that it will take them to the right place to see all the information. But yeah, it's once they're in the messaging thread that then they have to, they've got the button here.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
No problem.
It should also be noted that I know that Liv would have probably mentioned this, but stay away from mentioning commission when you're chatting to clients. It's just a really easy way for the client to squeeze you, try and get your prices lower, as well as, it's our relationship with you, so it doesn't really have anything to do with them. So yeah, stay away from mentioning commission in cost breakdowns if you can. Yeah, cool, Amado. Are there any more questions? So let me. Someone said, "Can you stop matches from several months ago?" So again, I think this is sort of what Catherine sort of mentioned about how we haven't got a way yet or there's nothing in place for old matches or quotes to be sort of cleared out. So it's something that we're aware of, and that this is great feedback, and I can forward this on to the product team, because I do think it would be something, especially people who've been on the platform for a while. I'd imagine you've got hundreds of them, so it would be great to clear them out.
Yeah, it definitely adds unnecessary noise. So yeah, that's something that we're looking at quite heavily at the moment.
Okay, cool. So how can we check our ranking?
Question?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Sorry guys.
No.
I want to get very busy on Feasted. So obviously, as we all do, we all want to get bookings in, and I really want to be using this as a focus for the future for us as a business. If I get ruthless on quotes and I really start to try and drum it in, my concern, as it's been mentioned before by Sam, if you take 4 bookings in a month and they say each one's 3 or 4 grand or whatever, potentially without getting money up front, that adds up to quite a lot of money. If I start getting ruthless now for next year to really try and get some bookings in, this Q1 20% payment that you're going to be looking to make across, will that also apply for any bookings that I take now for next year? So I know I'm going to have a little bit of a buffer.
Good question.
That's a good question, and I can find that out for you.
Yeah. I currently don't know that off. Have you got access to that now, Catherine, or is that going to be that's get back to him?
I'll chuck a message out and see what I can find out.
Yeah, so it's currently in sort of a design phase, so we'd have to look into that because that is a really interesting point. And again, it's like the deposit thing was supposed to actually be being trialed, or it was supposed to be being trialed now. It's been pushed back a little because we've had other priorities in the business come up. But this feedback has made it very clear that it's very important to a lot of you guys, and is affecting how we use the platform. So it's really important for us to see. So yeah, I really appreciate that. Anything else? Okay, so Zena says, how do we check our ranking? Currently, we don't rank people. I do. So I've started doing like sort of a leaderboard, which is our like 15 top, gross earners per month. And I'll send you that afterwards, after the meeting. But we don't currently have a way of ranking photographers just yet. It's something that I'm campaigning for, is to see how our different drink suppliers and photographers are operating, because currently we've only trialed sort of rankings grades for food suppliers. So yeah, hopefully that should be something that should be available in the next couple of months. So currently, unfortunately, no way of seeing your rankings. But I'm also doing a sort of photographer of the month sort of scheme where we just highlight a photographer that we really like and show some of their work and share on social media. So that could be quite cool. Glad you like my Father Christmas promotional video. Yes, it's great. Yeah, well done. I thought it was a really good way of getting across festive menus because because a lot of people are requesting that right now. Cool. Is there any other questions at all?
Just one thing, Josh. Would you obviously, because a lot of some of the quotes that I get, obviously because I don't have an indoor setup. I'm an outdoor man. Would you quote for the sake of quoting that as like brand awareness sort of thing? So even if like in for future bookings, etc. Obviously, you know when you're speaking about the try and quote for 13 months plus, etc. You quote even if it's not essential, if it's not you're not going to get it, but it's worth quoting.
I mean, to quote the great Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So it's always worth putting a quote in if you think there's some potential of you getting it. What I wouldn't do is put quotes in for events that you can't deliver, because then you might run into trouble. But however, if you believe, for example, in 6 months' time that you would have some sort of indoor setup, which I know for a fact isn't too expensive to purchase, there's no reason why you couldn't, try and win those jobs. In fact, it's a great way of paying off some of the new stuff that you would have bought. But yeah, it's stuff that I would stay away from doing, stuff that you can't deliver or would find it extremely difficult. But something that you could potentially foresee yourself doing in 6 months, have a shot at it, see how it goes.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, there's one more thing as well that I haven't mentioned, which is basically on your dashboards, definitely have a look at your community page. The reason being is there is about 20 or so exclusive discounts for you guys that I've arranged. So from sort of companies that do Japanese knives to Deputy, who's like a rotor management software, to Zipvan, to discounted coffee. All sorts of cool stuff. So definitely have a peek at the community page, and that's where you can see all your discounts and how to access them. Let's see. What is the customer journey? Is it all online, or do they speak to feasted bookers? That is a very good question. If a request is of certain value, it gets pushed to one of our account managers. So they'll have someone on our end advising them on which suppliers to book, how much they should be spending on stuff. Trying to find if they're having a wedding, maybe trying to find them a drink supplier as well. So the answer is if the value of the booking is, I think, under £1,000. Is that correct, Catherine? What goes to the bot?
I think it is under £1,000.
Yeah, so if the event value is under £1,000, it goes to a bot, which just sort of deals with it automatically. But if it's over £1,000, it gets attached to an account manager who's a human being who will be chatting to the client.
Equally, if the request is particularly high value, before it goes live, it will go via a Feasted account manager, so they can make sure it's got the most available information for you guys to quote on.
Okay, Zubir says we have to add attachment files as single files in messaging section. Can you add a feature to allow drop multiple files at one time? Catherine, what do you think of that?
I can pop it on the backlog. That's no problem. I can't give you any guarantees of when, but I will put it on the backlog, and it will be something that we'll always consider.
Yeah, we're currently I suppose you guys don't know this, but so currently we're launching venues. So basically, we've got food, drinks, marquees, florists, staff. It made sense to actually have venues bookable on the platform. So we've just launched that. So that's taking up a lot of our time right now. I would say if you want to refer a venue that you work with regularly that isn't on the platform, so a client can book you, the venue, and drinks through us. We would love that. So definitely send them my way. That'd be fantastic. Yeah. Let me have a look. Add videos would be great to add as attachments. Yep. Again.
Also added to the backlog.
Yep. Can I include my PDF brochure yes, you can include a PDF brochure just as long as it has no prices on it, or any mentions to your or like website address or phone number, because that would be seen as sort of trying to take stuff off platform. So yes, you can. Cool. Any other questions?
There was a thing I've just thought that in my head about obviously deposits and things like that.
Yeah.
If obviously just as a whether I don't know whether it'd work or not. If you gave if so that again £5,000 you quote. If they sent a 20% deposit directly to us, and then you guys, but then on the remainder, you took a higher commission, so that they could pay the cost to you.
Yeah.
But then we would get the commission pretty much straight away. We would get the deposit straight away.
Yeah.
So that was, but then that wouldn't be commission, but then you would take a higher commission off the remaining balance. If that makes sense.
So you're saying basically you're willing to take or pay more commission to have a deposit, essentially. Is how I'm reading that.
Personally, I would be, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's really good to know. I mean, we just actually raised our commission for some of our really old accounts to bring it in line with 15%. So there's no plans whatsoever in the future to raise commission. But it's definitely something worth considering. Okay, Toby says, how come we can call through the website but not direct? Sorry if I missed this being answered already.
Jason's also got a contact details one. Do you want me to take those two?
Yeah, go for it.
So the contact details after booking, yeah, you can do, because obviously on the day, timely communication is key. If you can keep anything on platform, obviously it keeps all the information for the booking in one place, so it is easier, but you will be able to share contact details after a booking has been made. Calling through the website, it's just really keeping it all on platform. We've had it in the past where people will try and take it off and then take the business away from the people who got it for them. So we just have it all through the website, but we've had loads of feedback about improving the system, so that's something that we're looking into heavily at the moment.
Nice one. Thanks for staying so much later, guys. Hopefully it's been beneficial to have the opportunity to ask loads of questions. One final call for questions, otherwise I'm going to have to wrap this up. All right. Nice one. I've had a potential customer being told off for trying to contact a platform. Good. Yeah. The reason being is that we have paid money to basically introduce that client to a supplier. So essentially what they're doing is they're taking the money that we've spent and trying to throw it in the bin and go around us. So, yeah. So yes, we do have some clients that think if they go around the platform, they will. Sorry, someone's on. I'm just going to mute. I can hear myself. So some customers think that if they go around the platform, they'll get a cheaper deal. The best way of combating this is just to charge the same on the platform as off the platform. It's really easy because through the platform, they get the benefit of having the security of getting a refund if the supplier cancels. You guys get the security of always getting paid, even if the client cancels within a certain time frame. So yeah, very cool. Any other questions? Will this and older masterclasses be available to view online after? Yes, I'm recording this and I will stick it up. Part of my plan for this the next month is to really sort of ramp up our video content because we don't really have anything. Next week, I'm going to be interviewing a supplier called Fire and Dough, who's really successful at doing sort of festivals. So anyone that'd be interested in joining that conversation, I'll post that link. It'll be sort of like this, where it's sort of like a town hall type thing. So yes, I will be posting this and other video content when it comes up. Will there be a follow-up to our suggestions that we've posted here? Unfortunately, I can't see who posted what, but I can have a look through the feedback and I can email you guys, what we can action now, what's being worked on, and that sort of thing. I'm not too sure if there's any. So basically, no, these masterclasses for everyone. I used to do them in the office, but we realised that a lot of our suppliers can't make it into Haggerston So we wanted to do it online to make sure as many people could attend them as possible. Jake says, sorry, laptop died. Not sure it's already been asked, but how do you move up the ranks of suppliers? Such we are on page 7 of 7. That I don't actually know. That would have to be some sort of SEO thing. The thing with that as well is that a customer, if they browse through suppliers, will get a block and it will tell them to submit a quote. So they can't see, they can only browse so much, because what was happening before is people were browsing and using us to find suppliers and then reaching them off the platform. So if a customer is browsing, they'll quickly get stopped, sort of like in a paywall style, and then they'll have to submit a quote. So being on 7 of 7 isn't the end of the world. Okay, so
yes, the open events bit, that's probably, where is that one tag? Does it load eventually? No. Okay. When you refresh, does it work? Excellent. Okay, I'll look at that. Thank you. Sorry, that's obviously not ideal. I'll have a look at that. There seems to be there's something going on there. I might get in touch with you separately if that's okay. Oh, okay, that's excellent. Let me take a look now, because it looks like there might be something going on.
Interesting. Okay, so a very clever supplier is logged on as a customer and is trying to find their own ranking on the platform. So it doesn't really, Feast doesn't really work like Google. So Google, obviously being on the front page, is like a massive benefit, and people pay a lot of money to be there. However, through Feast, they basically will be matched with suppliers through our Robex algorithm. So just being on that page it isn't that big of a deal. You're going to get matched with events all the same if you've got the correct tags in place. So I wouldn't stress out too much about that. But that is interesting. I'll have a look into how our system ranks people on the sort of browse supplier. Cool. Catherine, are you doing anything right now?
I think we might have a slight issue, so I'm going to have to jump off. Sorry about this.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
we will back up in no time. Thank you, guys.
Okay, great. Cheers, Catherine. Really appreciate it. Yes, it looks like the house is burning, so we need to go and fix that. Cool. All right, guys. Well, I think that about wraps up. If there's no further questions, it looks like we're currently down, which is hilarious timing, but we should be back up shortly. I'm going to send an email around trying to have a look at some of your feedback. I'll send you guys a resource pack. We'll book in. I'll also send you a link to be able to book in a 30 minutes of consultation with me. Really appreciate you guys coming down. Honestly, it's been really, really helpful to see all this feedback. Sorry, I'm echoing crazily out of control.
Cheers, Josh.
No worries. I'm just going to mute you, Andy. Cool. Yeah. Cheers. Yeah. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. And because you've been on, you've taken the time to attend these classes. You're also on our radar more. So if someone asks me for a supplier that they need, in a certain area, I can be like, "Yep, I know a guy," because you're fresh on the brain, so to speak. So yeah, it really your engagement is really important. So yeah, really, really appreciate it. All right. Cheers, guys. Well, thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Josh. Cheers, Catherine.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Cheers all. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.